Alright, Ruddy, the morgue thing is like a mouse running wild in the kitchen. He looked as panicked as a hot potato thrown out, and Mike thought, this guy definitely has issues. Ruddy came to the realization that he could no longer abide by the rule of invisibility, so he simply spoke his mind. As he glanced at Mike, he remarked, Jorison's ghost is really a chatterbox. The death was news on New Year's Day 1993, just 4 days left now. Bad luck. That means if he doesn't intervene, it's like a countdown rocket. Every second is just him waving goodbye to life. He had to brave the morgue again to figure out how he made it onto the death list, but with Dr. Lou stepping in, it seemed like treatment was off the table for now. Ruddy and Mike had a telepathic moment, deciding to take action tomorrow. That's our plan, buddy. The director held a patient meeting to assess everyone's mental depth. This is our golden opportunity. Let's seize it. Ruddy blurted absurdities in front of everyone, while Mike, knowing he was playing the madman, triggered a ruckus and poof, everyone bolted from hospital leaders and staff were dumbfounded. The director's face turned red, and he angrily ordered his men to chase Mike. After his first time in the morgue, Mike was clearly a pro this time, proactively sending out his rescue signal. He spent his time recalling the day he was shot, the day he fixed a busy car and then embarked on his wonderful journey. At that moment, he got a ride from a driver driving like a snail, and the cop pulled them over, fed up. The driver initially seemed cooperative, but once the door opened, there was an unexpected surprise. The cop got accidentally shot. The moment they locked eyes, Mike passed out dodging the stray bullet. Driver, what a perfect start. Everything was pinned on Mike, and when he opened his eyes again, he was right back in the fortified morgue. It was all a trap set by the driver. He urgently time-traveled to the CAF. Looks like last time's nobility didn't cast him away. He investigated the origin of how he ended up on that death list, yet only discovered clues regarding the death condition. His demise was reported shortly after, and Roy quickly blew the whistle on the director's violent treatment methods. With time running out, Mike decided to seize every moment to uncover the truth. Time was flying like arrows. Alpha said the reception hospital was always in business, and maybe some old staff remember the mystery events from that year. To speed things up, he spun a yarn that a deceased uncle was the one, an old tale now. They were greeted by the new director. My heart is tired. The new director hoped to find some records but returned empty-handed, so they had to chat with some old staff. When he saw Mike, Lewis couldn't help but grin. Your uncle is my most cherished patient. Mike couldn't help but beam. Wow, really? However, he had to calm down and ask about his deep impression. Turns out Bobuck's treatment philosophy was all Mike's big idea. What's my cause of death? He asked, and Lewis muttered, head trauma, not wanting to elaborate further. Mike zipped off to the morgue with Alpha, wanting to see if the so-called time tunnel was still there. As he stepped into the room, a guy in an ice jacket followed him in. Mike would never forget him, the early explorer who sent himself to the morgue, and now he had lost it too. He's talking in a muddled and incoherent way. Mike prepared himself to inquire about this guy's state. Damn, and definitely wouldn't be able to withstand such intense questioning at this moment, and it seemed like he was about to frighten him. The screaming caught the staff upstairs. The cops upstairs seemed to have lost their creative spark. All right, let's pack up and leave this place. Their feelings grew deeper, with Alpha holding his hand back to the place, and before he could say anything, Mike leaped up eagerly. As the bond heated up, Alpha initially didn't want to get involved, but from that moment on, he decided to unearth the truth. With a blink, he was back in 1992, and Mike thought, this is just too torturous, yet he didn't want to stop. Others thought the death time Alpha mentioned was almost up, and only continuous time travel could dodge the hands of death. The only thing he could tell Dr. Rowe was that he had been to the future, and Rowe thought the symptoms were flaring up, trailing the line of thought. Mike was almost staring death in the face because his wife left him behind. For someone else, but Mike didn't have time to listen. What he wanted to know the most was, what caused his death? It's all just your hallucinations. Oh, is it really? What about Bulbuck? Is that a hallucination too? The doctor's pupils involuntarily constricted at the mention of that name. In this hospital, the doctor had never mentioned that name, let alone that Mike would know about it. The doctor's voice gradually rose. How do you know him? For a moment, the doctor didn't know how to face someone daring to mention time travel. Most people thought it was unrealistic. Back home, The first thing he did was ask his bestie if she had spilled any secrets, and unsurprisingly, she hadn't. His best friend never discussed Bobik with anyone. At night, Mike was again taken to the parking lot. This time, he was smiling. He was mentally chanting Jackie's name. The next second, he's really in Jackie's car. Jackie brought Vital in for Bobik's IQ issues are negligible. He had no clue about dementia. Jackie hurriedly took him to the old director's house. The old director had long lost his form. He leaned on a cane, trying to climb the steep slope. When facing each other, the old director froze. What? Who are you? The old director thought it was utterly unbelievable, but the long years allowed him to believe in the old time traveling joke. Mike, filled with doubt, inquired, "Did you truly not kill him?" The old director sighed and said, "No one knows who exactly committed the murder.